Hello, we are at Doha in Qatar. Doha International. This is a freeware version of the airport. It's an old version from flightsim.to, but it still works. I know there's a payware version of Doha, but I tend to not go for payware airports since I am rarely, or should I say never, at the same place for long, so they don't make much financial sense. And today's flight is going to be a short one. We are going to Bahrain, Manama in Bahrain, which is just a short hop from here. So this will be a full flight video with, as usual, all the pre-flight and operations for our little Piper Comanche over here. So let's get started. Let's jump into the cockpit. Here we are. Let us check fuel. We have, well, not so much fuel, but it's plenty for the flight, assuming no issues. So we open the right fuel tank, remove the control locks. It is a hot day, 30s, in the 30s. Not a cloud on sight, and we need to do our walk around. It's always important. This is not just role playing. There are issues you can discover by doing the walk around. So we test the right flaps, nice and solid. The ailerons look good. Don't need to check the tip tanks since they're empty. Right lights, they're okay. Remove the tie down. Don't need to check fuel here because I already checked in the tablet. Move the chocks from the right wheel. Check the fuel tank for water. No water. There's little to no humidity in the air for the last, I don't know how many flights, so I would be very surprised to find water. Check the prop area, everything looks fine. Oil check, always important. Still a good quantity, starting to get dirty, but nothing we should worry about. And tank we can skip. More chocks to remove. Remove the pitot cover, another tie down, check the stall system. Left light, skip the tip tanks. Left aileron, left flaps, static port, then final tie down, elevators, rudder, static port, baggage door. I forgot to bring the flap back up, and we are done with the walk around. Now we are close to this pole here. We usually don't have to do it, but I wanted to show it how it's done. So I will release the brakes, and we're going to tow our little Comanche a little bit, which we just press this big T over here, and you see it applies a little tow, and you just use your control input to push the plane or turn the plane if you want to. I'm just pushing us a little bit back, but it's a very nicely done system. Stop, click the T again, parking brake on, and we can go on for our startup procedure, which we begin by checking the my god, I forgot the words, but you know, oh, the circuit breakers, that's what we're looking for, circuit breakers. They're all in. We turn on the rotating beacon, go back here, full mixture, full props, we are at sea level, crack open the throttle, and back here, master switch. The noise you hear is the rotating beacon. Tanks are okay, amps are fine, turn on the fuel pump. This is just an auxiliary fuel pump actually. Once the engine is on, you usually don't need it, so which is why we don't leave it on for the whole flight. Okay, positive fuel pressure, turn it off. Back here, we prime the engine. Again, I usually do 4 strokes. Never had an issue with that. Some people do more, some people do less. Turn on the magnetos and press start. And here we go. We can lower throttle a little bit to keep it above 1000 RPMs. Can lean a little bit, correct the gyro, and now we can turn on the avionics. Turn on avionics, turn on the nav2 and com2, turn on the transponder and headphones. Since we have communications now, I usually put the ADF our timer and don't need to fuel the tank since we didn't do anything. This is time to turn on BeyondATC and check our radios.
BeyondATC connected.
Takes a little while sometimes. Let's see. Okay, everything's fine. So we are at Hamad ground already, but we should. Oh yeah. While the GPS initializes, we can get the ATIS.
Eyes on initial contact. You have information Delta. Hamad Airport information Delta 1106 Zulu, wind 035 at 6, temperature 33, dew point 23, QNH 1010. Landing and departing runways 34 right, 34 left, transition level 150. Advise on initial contact. You have information Delta.
Okay, that's the ATIS. We also write down the ground frequency. So we have our QNH 1010. As you see, we are at sea level. Now we wait for the GPS to initialize. We already have the flight plan from the world map. I am a bit lazy, but here is our route, by the way. We are going to follow this. Again, it's a short flight. This SID, and then just go straight to, without an arrival, at least that's what SimBrief told us. And we'll land at Bahrain. This is the only civilian airport in Bahrain. There are air bases to the south, but we should only be able to land here. Anyway, we have our GPS, so let's turn on traffic. Yes, you'll have to do this every flight. So you just push here, switch ADS to on, confirm, and press it here. And we need, this is, I don't know what kind of bug this is, but you always have to switch between GPS and VLOC for the GPS to actually engage. I like to put the destination VOR, which is 111.8, so let's do that. 111.8 on both systems. Okay, and our first waypoint should be 336, which is already selected. So yeah, we are fine. Let's I actually should take a look at the chart just to make sure. It is our RNB, so there's no VOR. We just follow the waypoints, really. I hope we won't be sent to flight level 180 because this plane can really get to it. But anyway, let's get clearance. Doha ground CIC 06 with information Delta, ready for IFR clearance. Oh.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06. I didn't get that.
Yeah, because I'm the wrong frequency. Duh, I need to go to the clearance. Sorry about that. So clearance is 120. 875. Oops. This flight started at 120. 875. At least they didn't yell at me, which is nice. Okay, here we are at clearance. Doha clearance, CIC 06 with information Delta. Good afternoon. Ready for IFR clearance.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, Hamad delivery. Thanks for information. Delta, expect runway 34. Right, Tulu 2, Echo departure, squawk 3015.
Expect runway 34 right, Tulu 2 Echo departure, squawk 3015, CIC 06.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, read back correct. Contact ground 118.65 when ready for start or taxi.
118.65, CIC 06. So set up our transponder, turn it on to altitude. We have the correct procedure, I believe. Yeah, Tulu 2 Echo. So yeah, we should be ready to go. So let's go back to ground, and now we can request taxi. Ground CIC 06, ready for taxi.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, runway 34, right taxi via Charlie Alpha.
Taxi to runway 34 right via Charlie Alpha CIC 06. Again, let's use the taxi map to help us. We will... Sorry, I've been attacked by a cat. Let me play the game, cat. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So we just do a 180 here. Hope we don't hit anything. Turn right at Charlie. Follow it until Alpha to get to the runway. Well, Charlie is going to take us all the ways, it seems, but they're going all the other way. So we have some Qatar airliners over there, which shouldn't be much of a surprise since we are at Doha. Again, we are using BeyondATC, the experimental branch with traffic. So we it's not fully stable yet, but it's been working quite well. Let's see, there are some construction stuff over here. We do have some not insignificant wind, but again, not too much of a problem. So I will go all the way to the end. At least there is no other traffic before us. So this is a quiet afternoon at Hamad, I suppose. Slow down a little bit. And we should be Central Tower after we stop here.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, contact Hamad Tower 118.525. Have a good day.
118.525 CIC 06. Let's tuning to the tower 118.525. But before we contact them, we need to do the pre-flight checklist. So we put the engine to high RPM, check the instruments, oil pressure, fuel pressure, oil temperature, EGT, cylinder temperature, gyro suction. Everything looks okay. Now we test the magnetos, looking for about 100 RPM drop for both. Everything's fine. And we cycle the engine 3 times. RPM back, RPM 4. You can see how the pressure increases when we lower RPM, which is as expected. Okay, everything is fine here. Lower RPM to about 1500 and check the carburetor heat, which should reduce our HP like so. Again, we probably won't need carburetor heat for this flight, there's no humidity, but you always have to check. Trim at neutral, door is latched. Fuel pump on, landing lights on, strobe light on, autopilot on, mixture to full. That's the checklist complete. Let's talk to tower. Tower CIC 06 at runway 34 right, ready for takeoff.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, Hamad Tower, wind 035 at 6, runway 34 right, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 34 right, CIC 06. Let's line up. This is a very quiet airport. I was hoping for more traffic chatter, but not sure what's going on. Last time when we landed there was chatter all the way. Okay, so final. We're lined up, so I just zoom out the GPS. Check the heading bug, it's fine. We set the timer and we can go release the brakes. Full power. Airspeed alive. Everything looks fine. Try to keep it in the middle. Rotate at 85 miles, but sometimes it goes before that, as you can see. We are already airborne. Positive climb. Tap the brakes and gear up. don't need flaps for takeoff. So we stay on the runway center line. 500 feet. I am already going to go to heading mode. Actually, I can go to track mode since we're following the. And at 500, at 1000, turn off fuel pump, landing lights, RPM back to 2400. Let's find a warning. Our first waypoint will take us to 336. That's where we are actually. It's gonna tell us to switch zones. So here is Qatar, Doha. We saw it by night last time, so let's take a look at by day. Scrapyard.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, contact Doha radar 126.7.
126.7 CIC 06. Let's switch frequencies. Doha radar CIC 06, good afternoon, 2,500 feet.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, Doha radar, radar contact. Continue climb to 6,000 feet, QNH 1010.
Climb to 6,000 feet, QNH 1010, CIC 06. That sound that beeping you're hearing is the nav 2, which has tuned to the BHR VOR, so it's beeping its Morse code. I like to leave it on just to know when we have the VOR in. Now we can turn it off. This is just a message that always happens. So we're going straight to Raven. Raven is 010. So that's where we are switching. So here we are. It said 6,000 feet. We are 4,000 feet, so we can lean the mixture a bit. I don't know if it's gonna send us even higher than that, but we also should trim down a little bit so we can go to a slower climb speed. We don't need to go to climb this fast. The idea
Arabia 138, QNH 1009, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 34 right.
1009, expect radar vectors for Alpha runway 34 right, Arabia 138.
So the climb, the cruise climb is about 120 knots, so we're still trimming down so we can lean. Yeah, so see, we are now at the correct nice climb. So again, this is Qatar. This is Doha. This looks artificial. It's a weird place. Once we get to Raven, then we should. I mean, they said this.
Qatari 1067, contact Hamad Tower 118.525.
Over to Tower 118.525, Qatari 1067.
Just following. This looks weird. We should be closer to Revan. Is this not to scale? Anyway. So after Revan, we stay at 010. And yeah. So we're approaching 6,000 feet. Are we gonna be sent? Probably. Okay, so let's stay at 6,000. So let us engage altitude hold, lower RPM to 200 and 2100, 2100. Lean the plane down, trim the plane down and lean it as well. Oops, too much. See, the plane complains immediately if you go. Okay, this is fine. We can stay at full throttle. It's not much of an issue. So we're at 6,000. Need to trim down a little bit. That's when the autopilot complains, because it doesn't auto trim. Everything is manual. So at least it warns you if the trim is too high or too low for it to keep holding altitude. Temperature is 20 degrees, so we don't even need heating, so it's fine. We are on our way. Speed is picking up. 12 gallons per hour is a good mixture, I find. Let's see, 59 HP. We are at about 61 or so in fuel flow, so that's acceptable. And we are cruising. We are cruising to Bahrain. Since this is a short flight, I will already try to pick up the frequencies. We stay for our destination. So the GPS is tuned to our departure. We push here and we turn on the keyboard shortcuts just to help us. So we just type OBBI, press here again and enter. So it's 8 feet as expected. It's an island, but let's get some of the frequencies already for our arrival. 127.2 is the ATIS.
Soldier 725 Heavy, contact Doha Center 126.7.
Contact Doha Center 126.7, Saudi 725 Heavy. Have a good day.
We can already tune in the ATIS. We will be needing that soon. There are two approach frequencies. I usually find that the game gives you the second one, so let's write that down. 127, that's 085. Tower 118.5 and ground 121.85. And that's pretty much all we need to know about our destination. Our next turn is to 345. Again, the best way to turn in this autopilot is to pre-select the heading. You'll be following. We are on track mode, so it is following the GPS. This is just an indication, by the way. This is not what it's following. I can turn it anywhere and the plane won't turn. What the plane cares about is this when it is in track mode. And once the GPS warns us 10 seconds to turn, we start the turning. And by start the turning, I mean we simply push the button until we go back to heading mode, wait for it to go to heading mode, and put it in track mode again. It's quite simple and works pretty well.
Sky Travel 15 Lima, reduce speed to 210 knots.
Reduce speed to 210 knots. Sky Travel 15 Lima.
See, no, heading mode. And the plane would turn.
Sky Travel 15 Lima. Contact Bahrain approach 127.85.
Contact Bahrain approach 127.85. Sky Travel 15 Lima.
Go back to
Dual
heading
radar,
mode.
Qatari 47 Yankee Heavy, descending via Haya 1 Lima, flight level 350.
Qatari 47 Yankee Heavy. Doha radar identified.
And that's all you need to do to use the autopilot in the Comanche. I like it. I mean, of course, it's not a very capable autopilot, but at least it makes you pay attention. You know, the plane doesn't. Although it would try to turn, it would take a little while to get it correct, and it would do a lot of corrections.
Doha radar, Emirates 5 Mach Heavy, good day, flight level 320.
Emirates 5 Mike Heavy. Doha radar. Radar contact.
We're on the coast on the Persian Gulf, flying east of the Qatari peninsula, and we'll soon be crossing it towards the Bahrain archipelago. Bahrain is an interesting place. It has a lot of history. I mean, every place has a lot of history, but in Bahrain's case, it's interesting because of its location. It's, again, if you look at the map, Bahrain is right in the middle of the Persian Gulf, so it's an important place for, you know, if you think of shipping routes from Mesopotamia to India, and that's why it was really important in ancient times. And also it's known for its pearls. Until the 19th century, I believe, Bahrain was considered the foremost pearling site.
Doha radar, Egyptian 936, 1,100 feet.
Egypt Air 936 Doha radar. Good day. Radar contact. Continue climb to flight level 180.
Continue climb to flight level 180, Egyptian 936.
But Bahrain is also quite a small place. It's a small archipelago. I believe it's the third smallest country in Asia. It has only about 1,500,000 people currently, and ever since antiquity it's been, you know, switching being thrown around like a potato from empire to empire, from the Mesopotamians and Babylonians, then to Alexander, and once Islam comes along.
Doha radar, World Express 793 Heavy, descending via Cobalt 1, 1,800 feet.
World Express 793 Heavy. Doha radar identified. World Express 793 Heavy. Contact Bahrain approach 127.85.
Contact Bahrain approach 127.85, World Express 793 Heavy.
Again, another little switch. Next one is 296.
Arabia 138. Descend to 2,500 feet. QNH 1009.
Descend to 2,500 feet, QN 1009, Arabia 138.
So in the Islamic era, Bahrain was very much contested by Persia, current Iran, which is over here, and by the Ottomans or the Sauds in Arabia, until the late 18th century, when the current ruling dynasty, the Al Khalifas, took over. And in the 19th century it came under British influence, like much of the areas in the Persian Gulf that were not Persia really, and which means Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE. It got its independence in the 1950s, after the war, and it has had its share of unrests and upheavals. Again, it has a sizable Shia minority which is under Iranian influence, so every once in a while there are protests against the current dynasty, and they took a very nasty turn in the Arab Spring, which if you remember, was a series of popular movements that started in Tunisia and spread around most of the Arab world. And in Bahrain they were repressed very violently, very brutally by the government, which also requested Saudi Arabian help, which means that to this day Saudi Arabia has a very important presence in Bahrain, and there are plenty of reports of human rights abuses by the government forces against the popular movements, always under the pretext of Iranian interference, which is probably true, but only up to a point. As we know, no countries in this area are what we'd call democratic, and so that's. But in Bahrain's case, it was one of the most. 296. And I like to keep the second.
Doha radar, Pakistan 288, 1,100 feet.
Pakistan 288, Doha radar. Good day, radar contact. Continue climb to flight level 210.
Continue climb to flight level 210, Pakistan 288.
So while the country is peaceful now, there's this undercurrent of repression that's not unknown in this part of the world.
Qatari 47 Yankee Heavy QNH 1009, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 34 left.
Kane 1009er, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 34 left, Qatari 47 Yankee Heavy.
Pakistan 288, increase speed to 230 knots.
Increase speed to 230 knots, Pakistan 288.
So as you can see, we're already 50 miles from the Bahrain VOR and almost done with our departure procedure. Again, the charted one would require us to go to flight level 180, but SimBrief and BeyondATC nicely let us stay at 6,000, so it's a very nice cruise altitude for the Comanche. And we are in the northern peninsula of Qatar. There are actually clouds over Bahrain. Interesting. I can't see anything over here, but aircraft. Just about glimpse mountains over here, which would be, let's say, stupid, but yeah, this is Europe.
Go radar, Gulf A134, good day, 500 feet.
Gulf Air 134, Doha radar. Radar contact, continue climb to flight level 330.
Continue climb to flight level 330, Gulf Air 134.
North Qatar is pretty much oil.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, Doha radar, expect radar vectors, ILS runway 30 right.
Expect radar vectors ILS 30 right, CIC 06. So we already have our approach. Let's plug it in. Select approach, ILS 30 right, vectors, load, yes. It already selects the VLOC, the ILS frequency.
Pakistan 288, increase speed to 250 knots.
Increase speed to 250 knots. Pakistan 288.
I'll keep the VOR here for now. Let's take a look at the chart for it. 30 right, final edge route. So yeah, we'll be vector. Might be vector from Kinid actually. I don't know if it's going to make us fly all the way to Riga. So it is 300 zero cruise. We descend at 1500. Yeah. Minimums 226. We can wait a little bit. I think once we hit time, okay. Once we're close to, we're off our departure, already get the ATIS for Bahrain. So after Tulub, fuel is fine, instruments look fine. Anyway, that's
Doha radar, Pakistan 280, 1,100 feet.
Pakistan 280, Doha radar identified, continue climb to 15,000 feet, QNH 1009er.
Continue climb to 15,000 feet, QNH 1009er, Pakistan 280.
Arabia 138, leave Dasik heading 320. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 34 right.
Leave Dasik heading 320. Expect radar vectors for us runway 34 right, Arabia 138.
Pakistan 280, climb to 15,000 feet, increase speed to 230 knots.
Climb to 15,000 feet, increase speed to 230 knots, Pakistan 280.
Arabia 138, turn left heading 350, vectors for the approach.
Turn left, heading 350, Arabia 138.
oh, lots of traffic now. Maybe they took a while to be injected, but it seems to be working fine. Yeah, we can't see Bahrain. We should.
Doha radar, Qatari 220, descending via Hair 1 Lima, flight level 350.
Arabia 138, turn left heading 330.
Turn left, heading 330, Arabia 138.
The islands should already be visible over here, but we can't see because there are
Qatari
clouds.
220, Doha radar, radar contact.
Bahrain, as you expect, is an oil economy. Again, it's a much smaller place than the other oil-rich nations here, so it's less of a heavy hitter. And as most oil economies, it's also investing heavily in the the financial sector and also in tourism. From what I saw, it pretends.
Arabia 138, 8 miles from Lazzo, turn left, heading 305, maintain 2,500 feet until established, cleared ILS runway 34 right.
Turn left, heading 305, 2,500 feet until established. Cleared out runway 34 right, Arabia 138.
There's traffic coming our way. But anyway, Bahrain is trying to... apparently the tourism pitch is that it provides a more authentic Arabic experience, even though it's done, you know, Doha or Dubai or other tourism hubs in the area. Of course, I can't verify that, but you know, that's pretty much.
Pakistan 280, increase speed to 250 knots.
Increase speed to 250 knots. Pakistan 280.
Egypt Air 936, Doha radar. Amendment to your route, advise ready to copy.
Wilco, ready to copy Egypt Air 936.
Egypt Air 936, expect radar vectors, runway 03A.
Expect radar vectors, runway 03A, Egypt Air 936.
Juliet Alpha, contact Doha Center 126.7.
Contact Doha Center 126.7. Juliet Alpha.
That was interesting. I never seen an amendment to the route. So we are soon, when we reach Kinid, we'll enter the Bahrainian airspace. So we are about to leave Qatar.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, radar vectors, ILS runway 30 right. Report ready for descent.
Radar vectors ILS 30 right, ready for descent, CIC 06.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, turn left, heading 295, descend to 3,000 feet, QNH 1010, Bahrain landing runway, 30 right.
Turn left, heading 295, descend to 3,000 feet, CIC 06.
Negative, QNH 1010 and runway 30 right.
QNH 1010, runway 30 right, CIC 06. Oops. Anyway, we can descend, which is fine.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, contact Bahrain approach 127.85.
127.85 CIC 06. Before
Arabia 138, contact Hamad Tower 118.525.
Over to Tower 118.525, Arabia 138.
let's get the ATIS before we talk to approach.
Few clouds at 3000. Temperature tree 2. Dew point 26. QNH 1010. Landing and departing runways 30 left, 30 right. Transition level 150. Advise on initial contact. You have information Golf. Bahrain Airport Information Golf 1121 Zulu. Wind 315 at 10. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature tree 2. Dew point 26.
Okay, so that's our Gulf information. Approach CIC 06 with information Gulf. Good afternoon. 5,000 feet.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06. Bahrain approach. QNH 1010. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 30 right.
QNH 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS, runway 30 right, CIC 06.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha, 06, turn left, heading 285, vectors for the approach.
Turn left, heading 285, CIC 06. So we are being vectored straight from here, really. Even before we continue our... So since we're being vectored, we can already activate the approach. Let's activate the vectors to final. That's it, really. So we are being vectored to FI 30 right, correct. We are at almost 3,000 feet. So let's get ready to
World Express 793 Heavy, contact Bahrain Tower 118.5.
Contact Tower 118.5, World Express 793 Heavy.
Now we're not at full throttle since we're pretty low. It's interesting that the ATIS didn't say anything about this fog, but we'll see. So we are following the heading mode now, 285. We can already put the ILS at 300, which is the correct. The default heading will be following. This is still in the VOR.
All aircraft be advised, information hotel now current, QNH 1010.
Hotel, that's fine. Let's do our...
Bahrain J0101, good day. Flight level 159er with information hotel.
To 0101 Bahrain approach, QNH 1010. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 30 right.
King 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 30 right, J0101.
So it seems we'll just fly straight here, really. Fly straight.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, 9 miles from side 30R, turn right, heading 295, maintain 1,500 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 30 right.
Turn right, heading 295, descend to maintain 1,500 feet. Cleared ILS 30 right, CIC 06. Yeah, let's go. Let's descend to 1,500. That's a very short approach, really. Descending again, I don't even need to touch the yoke. We're trimmed down, so just release the altitude hold and lower power, and the plane will happily start descending. Again at a nice little rate. Let's tune tower 118.5. And zoom in a little bit. And now we can worry about the going straight to the runway. Nice vectoring, really. Saved us a lot of time. And now we can start actually vectoring ourselves for switch this to the ILS as well. Just nice and easy. Come on, a bit less power so we get to 1500. And correct the course. And we are fine. Yeah, we are going inside the clouds really. Our minimums are 200 feet or so, right? 226. So that's 1500. Altitude hold, power. Let's start the landing checklist, which is turn on fuel pumps and landing lights. No need for pitot hit.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, contact Bahrain Tower 118.5.
118.5 CIC06. See, we can already contact tower. Come on, fly straight. Slow down the plane so we can deploy landing gear soon. Tower CIC06, good afternoon. ILS runway 30 right.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, Bahrain Tower, wind 345 at 10, runway 30 right, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 30 right, CIC06. We have strongish winds, a little of a crosswind from the right, but mostly a headwind, so we're fine. We are 2 miles from our final approach fix. Speed is good enough, so let's gear down. Gear down and locked. Speed slows down because of the drag. Flaps down. Full props, full mixture. Trim up because we're losing speed. But we are a bit crooked. Yeah, we're gonna depend on the needle so we can see this is probably already Bahrain. We're 1 mile. Well, actually, I'll just turn off the autopilot and let's do this. Let's follow the ILS by ourselves and hope we can see the runway. This is a default airport. I only found very old mods for it, so I didn't want to risk it. Sometimes the mod is very old. They're not updated for, you know, for the game recent patches, so they might cause trouble. So okay, we are descending. Actually shouldn't be descending already. Let's try just to keep the... Now we are looking at the yellow arrow. We don't really care about the green triangle. Okay, now we can start descending since we've caught up to the ILS. I still can see the runway. Second flaps. I feel like we should have a fog warning in place in the meter, or if it's just the game goofing up the weather system. This is the default weather. I don't usually use any weather mods, but hopefully runway will be in sight soon. 1,000 feet. Oh, there it is. Here, see, blinking lights. Hello, blinking lights. I am very glad to see you. Now we are need to descend. Now that we see the runway, I feel more confident in descending. So this is Manama, the capital of Bahrain. Bahrain is pretty much this city, I think. Yeah. Trim a little bit more, and we really need send off. So let's release the yoke. So yeah, we're being pushed a little bit by the wind from the right. So let's compensate. Now we can see the runway properly. So yay, we're not doing an illegal landing. This runway is not used right now. So let's, come on, we are way too high. Basically just gliding down, turning the engine off. Well, not turning it off, just powering it down. So we can catch up. Three white lights. We only there we go. 2. We're caught up, so we can add power. Everything more or less under control. Still a little crosswind. I'll correct it in a bit. 200 feet below minimums, but we can see everything. Gliding down. See the windsock there of the crosswind. Flare. And allow the plane to gently, kind of gently, come on, you can touch now. Nice and easy.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, exit left next available taxiway.
Exit left next available taxiway, CIC 06. Is this the next available taxiway? Or is this a... It doesn't look like it, but maybe... Yeah, this is from the other side. Wow, there's a truck and yeah, that's... an old flight simulator issue. Ground vehicles do what they want, really. But we're fine. Let's not complain. We can turn left here. Some brakes. Hello. Get out. Get out. There's no collision. I'm just being stupid.
Charlie India, Charlie Alpha 06, contact ground 121.85.
121.85 CIC 06. Oops. 121.85.
Bahrain Tower, Sky Travel 15 Lima.
Turn off fuel pump, strobe light. Lean a little bit since we're at sea level. This noise you're hearing is my cat walking around the place. Right? Yeah, that's you. Trim to neutral. Let's talk to ground. Ground CIC 06, taxi to parking.
Charlie, India, Charlie, Alpha, 06. Welcome to Bahrain. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Any ramp is fine, CIC 06.
Charlie, India, Charlie, Alpha, 06, ramp 75, taxi at pilot's discretion.
Taxi to ramp 75 at pilot's discretion, CIC 06. Pilot's discretion means that the...
Charlie, India, Charlie, Alpha, 06, cross runway 30 left, continue taxi via...
Cross runway 30 left, CIC 06.
Sky Travel 15 Lima, ramp 30 taxi via Alpha.
Ramp 30 taxi via Alpha, Sky Travel 15 Lima.
As you can see, the airport is really underwhelming. Let's see if I can find ramp 7.5 in the chart. But if not, we'll just park anywhere. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to find it. 87, 81. There is 81 here. These are the gates. There's a GA terminal over here. 51, oh my god. Is there a better parking stance? Yeah, there's no 75. So this is just the game inventing one, so I'll just go in the general direction of the GA terminal here and park in one of those. Which is, can we, is this up to scale? Let's see if we just turn right and head that way. Lots of planes at the gates over there. Did I put the flaps up? Yes, I did. So this was a short and nice flight over Qatar and Bahrain. We couldn't see much of Bahrain because of this weird fog. Do we show up? No, we don't. We should show up here, right? Yeah. Let's not crash into the fuel tank. Over here. Lots of Gulf airplanes. Liveries seem to mostly work. There's only one blank livery here. Once we hit here, we will just, I don't know, turn right. Is there anyone waiting for us? Not really. I'll just park over here. It's fine. So there we are. At Bahrain International Airport in Bahrain after a short flight. See a little bit of the surroundings now. And default airport, not much to say. So let's shut down the plane. We start by shutting down communications, and as we do that we can say bye to BeyondATC, which worked really well. Very nice, you know, as you saw, vectors for the approach really saved us time. Turn off nav, turn off transponder, remove headphone, turn off lights, main battery, power to idle, cut mixture, wait for the prop to stop, prop to back, close fuel, turn off magnetos, open the door so the cat can leave. We have a cat. No, he doesn't leave. Controls lock. wheel chocks, tie downs, pitot cover, baggage door, everything else is off. And that's it. Again, thank you for your company, thank you for your patience. This was a very cool little flight. Next time I believe we'll be heading back to Saudi Arabia for one last time, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.